Smoke hangs heavy in the air. A bitter haze rises from burning naphtha pots and smoldering timbers, stinging the eyes and throat. The thunder of horse hooves echoes against stone walls, mixing with the low, anxious whinny of animals left without grain. Shouted orders cut through the chaos, barked in a foreign tongue, followed by the sharp, unmistakable crack of whips. Then the scene opens fully. Hundreds of women are driven into the open square. Their veils are torn away, their faces streaked with ash, sweat, and tears. Slender figures, some barely more than girls, stagger forward as rough hands grab, shove, and sort them like livestock. One soldier yanks a young woman by the arm, dragging her toward a line of tents. She stumbles, her cry swallowed by the noise around her. Nearby, another group is separated out, the daughters of nobles and wealthy families, set aside deliberately. Their fate is not random. It is assigned. The conquerors laugh openly. Their eyes shine with expectation, with entitlement. To them, this is victory made tangible. But this moment is only the beginning. What follows exposes the true horror. Not a sudden outburst of violence, but a calculated system. A storm designed to break societies and recycle human lives into fuel for conquest. What you are about to hear involves enslavement and sexual violence against women and civilians. These events are preserved in historical records, but they are deeply disturbing. If you need to step away, that's understandable. For those who stay, the goal here is not to exploit suffering, but to understand the machinery behind it, how terror itself became a tool of empire. This was not mindless barbarism. It was a system, a machine of empire building, oiled with fear and powered by human beings treated as currency. In the spring of 1220, as Mongol armies poured into Central Asia, the city of Bukhara, one of the great jewels of the Silk Road, became the proving ground for this machine. Genghis Khan, the self-proclaimed scourge of God, did not merely conquer cities. He dismantled them, repurposing survivors into instruments for future wars. His sons carried out these orders with cold efficiency, ensuring that every victory strengthened the next. The target was the Khwarezmian Empire, ruled by Shah Muhammad, a realm that had invited disaster through arrogance and betrayal. What happened in Bukhara mattered because it set a template, one that would be repeated across continents for decades. Cultures erased, populations shattered, and in their place, the largest land empire the world had ever known. Its echo still lingers today, in how power treats people as expendable assets. Long before flames licked Bukhara's walls, the roots of this destruction spread across the Mongolian steppe. Genghis Khan was born Temujin around 1162, into a brutal world of feuding nomadic clans. When his father was poisoned by rivals, Temujin was still a boy. His family was abandoned. He survived hunger, exile, and enslavement, learning early that mercy was a luxury. Through relentless will, strategic marriages, and ruthless alliances, he rose. By 1206, he had united the Mongol tribes under one banner and taken the title Genghis Khan, universal ruler. His system was deceptively simple: loyalty over lineage, merit over birth, rewards shared from plunder, and terror used deliberately, not randomly, to break enemies before battles even began. His army, perhaps 100,000 strong, moved with terrifying speed. Mounted archers fired composite bows that outranged anything their enemies possessed. They lived off the land, crossed impossible terrain, and struck where no one expected them. The collision with the Khwarezmian Empire began as a diplomatic dispute and spiraled into catastrophe. This empire stretched from the Caspian Sea to the Indus River, wealthy from trade, layered with Persian, Turkic, and Arab traditions. Shah Muhammad, in his 40s and deeply proud, dismissed the Mongols as uncivilized raiders. In 1218, a Mongol trade caravan of around 450 merchants arrived at Otrar, a border city. They came openly, seeking commerce. The governor, Inalchuk, Shah Muhammad's own uncle, accused them of espionage. Their goods were seized. Every merchant was executed. Genghis Khan sent envoys demanding justice. Shah Muhammad responded by beheading one and shaving the beards of the others, sending them back in humiliation. It was a fatal mistake. Genghis Khan valued diplomacy as a weapon. To insult it was to choose annihilation. "They have chosen war," he declared. What followed ranks among the deadliest invasions in history. Estimates vary wildly. Some historians suggest 1.5 million dead, others as many as 15 million. The exact number may never be known, but the devastation is not in doubt. Genghis divided his forces into wings. He took the central route with his youngest son, Tolui. Still in his 20s, Tolui was already known for ruthless efficiency and logistical brilliance. He mastered siege warfare quickly, adapting tactics with chilling speed. The Mongols crossed deserts and mountains thought impassable, enduring blizzards, thirst, and starvation. Contemporary observers were stunned. Otrar fell after a 5-month siege. Inalchuk was executed brutally. Molten silver poured into his eyes and ears, a symbolic punishment for greed. The city was destroyed. Its people were slaughtered or enslaved. This became the rule: resist and be erased, submit and be exploited. Shah Muhammad fled west, abandoning his empire. His mother, Turkan Khatun, attempted to rally defenses as Mongol forces split apart. Genghis and Tolui pushed toward the heartland, and there, waiting like a prize, stood Bukhara. Over 1,500 years old, Bukhara was a center of Islamic scholarship and commerce. Its skyline was marked by towering minarets. Its bazaars buzzed with traders. Its libraries held centuries of accumulated knowledge. Perhaps 300,000 people lived within its walls: merchants, scholars, craftsmen, families. But tensions simmered. Shah Muhammad had previously sacked the city, leaving deep resentment among its people. In early 1220, Genghis Khan executed one of his most daring maneuvers. He led his army across the Kazilkum Desert, a wasteland believed impossible for large forces. Mongol scouts had secretly mapped hidden wells. When the horde emerged at Bukhara's gates, it was as if they had materialized from the void. The city's garrison, around 20,000 strong under a Turkish general named Kukan, rode out to confront them. Mongol archers ambushed the force, slaughtering thousands. The survivors fled back behind the walls, dragging fear with them. For 3 days, the Mongols encircled the city. Their tents stretched to the horizon. Catapults hurled stones. Arrows blackened the sky. Inside, panic spread. Kukan urged resistance, but the people, exhausted by misrule, made a desperate choice. On February 10th, 1220, Bukhara opened its gates. Genghis Khan rode in, Tolui at his side. The outer city submitted, but Kukan and a few hundred soldiers barricaded themselves inside the citadel with their families. What followed revealed the system in full operation. Civilians were driven forward to fill moats and scale walls, used as living tools. Defenders were forced to kill their own. Naphtha pots ignited rooftops. Fire consumed wooden homes. After 12 days, the citadel fell. Kukan fought to the end. His men were overwhelmed. No male taller than a whip's butt was spared. Tens of thousands died. Though medieval chroniclers may exaggerate, the scale of slaughter is unquestionable. And among the survivors was a young woman named Zara. Zara was the daughter of a silk merchant, born into comfort and quiet expectations. Her father traded fine fabrics from China and Persia, and her childhood unfolded among shaded courtyards, poetry recitations, and carefully tended gardens. She had been promised to a young scholar, a future imagined in lectures and family gatherings, not in fear. War was something distant, discussed in whispers, never expected to burst through the door. When the Mongols breached Bukhara, that illusion vanished in an instant. Soldiers dragged her family from their home. Her father was torn away with the other able-bodied men, bound and marched off toward an unknown fate. Zara never saw him again. In the open square, the population was sorted with methodical precision. Artisans were separated first. Smiths, carpenters, weavers, marked for deportation east, where their skills would serve the empire. Strong young men were pulled aside and levied into auxiliary units, destined to march ahead of the army as expendable manpower. Then came the rest: women, children, the elderly. Genghis Khan ordered the survivors assembled in open fields beyond the city. He and Tolui personally oversaw the distribution. This was not chaos. It was accounting. Plunder, gold, goods, and people was divided by rank. Humans were tallied like livestock. The chronicles described the chosen women as slender as cypress trees, a phrase that marked youth and desirability. Many were raped immediately, a deliberate act meant to reward soldiers and shatter resistance. Others were assigned as concubines, servants, or slaves, their value determined by rank and need. Zara was among those driven into guarded lines, her cries swallowed by the mass around her. She was assigned to Tolui's camp, her life reduced to an entry in the ledger of conquest. Her body was no longer her own. It was currency. This was not about individual cruelty alone. It was incentive. Soldiers who followed orders were rewarded. Loyalty was bound not just by fear, but by access to spoils, land, wealth, and women. Violence became institutional, regulated, repeatable. While the people were being divided, Bukhara itself was stripped bare. Mongol troops moved street by street, rooting out anyone hiding. Entire quarters were torched. Flames raced across wooden roofs, collapsing homes in showers of sparks. The great library vanished into smoke, centuries of knowledge reduced to ash. Only stone structures, minarets, and walls remained standing amid the ruins. Genghis Khan entered the Friday mosque, reportedly mistaking it for a palace. He ordered horses fed from chests that once held Qurans. Wine was poured. Singing girls were forced to perform. From the pulpit, he addressed the survivors. "O people," he thundered, "know that you have committed great sins. I am the punishment of God." It was psychological warfare. Conquest framed as divine judgment. Resistance recast as heresy. The message was clear. Submission was not just survival, it was repentance. Bukhara's fall sent shockwaves through the Khwarezmian Empire. Shah Muhammad, already in flight, heard the news and despaired. Cities collapsed without a fight as word spread. The Mongols spared those who surrendered quickly and annihilated those who resisted. Tolui rejoined his father as they moved toward Samarkand, where similar horrors would unfold. For a brief moment, Bukhara breathed. Among the ruins,